Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten what you were going for? Or perhaps you were in the middle of a sentence, and the right word simply vanished from your mind. These are what are known as senior moments, small memory lapses that, while common, can be incredibly frustrating and even a little scary. For many of us over 50, these episodes raise a worrying question. Is this just a normal part of aging, or a sign of something more serious? The quest for answers often leads us to search for quick fixes, like the #1 brain food you're not eating, to prevent senior moments. And while the internet is full of promises, the truth is, brain health is far more complex than a single magic ingredient. If you are truly committed to protecting your mind, nurturing your memory, and ensuring your best years are still ahead, with clarity and vitality, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, we don't offer miracle cures, but rather deep science-backed knowledge so you can make the best decisions for your health. The journey we are about to embark on goes far beyond a simple grocery list. We will dive into the science behind memory and uncover how certain dietary choices can, in fact, build a more resilient brain. What we will reveal today is backed by robust research, but it requires an understanding of the why it works, not just the what to eat. Because the true power lies not in the food itself, but in understanding the battle happening within our brain every second, and how we can give our neural cells the right tools to win. The battle I mentioned is not a metaphor. It's a real biochemical process that occurs in our bodies, and especially in our brains. Many of us have heard generic advice about brain health. Do crosswords, learn a new language, stay socially active. And all of this is undoubtedly extremely valuable. However, these activities are akin to exercising your brain muscles, but they don't address the quality of the fuel and the environment in which those muscles operate. The true enemy of mental clarity, especially as we age, operates at a microscopic level, and has two main culprits: oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. Think of oxidative stress as a form of cellular rust. Just as metal exposed to oxygen and moisture rusts and degrades, our brain cells, which consume an enormous amount of oxygen to function, generate unstable byproducts called free radicals. Over time, the damage caused by these free radicals accumulates, impairing neuron function. Inflammation, on the other hand, is the body's natural response to injury or infection. However, low-grade, constant inflammation can settle throughout the body, including the brain, creating a hostile environment that interferes with neuronal communication and accelerates cognitive aging. These two processes go hand in hand, creating a vicious cycle that slowly wears down our mental faculties. Therefore, the true #1 brain food wouldn't just be something that provides energy, but something that actively combats this rust and inflammation. The solution, then, lies not in a trick, but in a biochemical strategy. If these are the villains, the obvious question is, who are the heroes? Where do we find the natural compounds capable of fighting this battle at a cellular level to protect our minds? The heroes in this cellular battle are a class of potent compounds found in plants, known as flavonoids. You've probably heard of them, perhaps associated with red wine or green tea. But their role in brain health is far deeper and more specific than you might imagine. Flavonoids are, in essence, the defense system of plants. They protect them from damage by ultraviolet radiation, pathogens, and environmental stress. When we consume plants rich in these compounds, we, in a way, borrow this defense system for our own bodies. The main weapon of flavonoids is their potent antioxidant activity. They are specialists at neutralizing free radicals, that cellular rust we mentioned. Instead of allowing these unstable molecules to damage the membranes of our brain cells, their DNA and mitochondria, the cell's powerhouses, flavonoids sacrifice themselves, donating an electron to stabilize the free radical and break the cascade of damage. Furthermore, many flavonoids have strong anti-inflammatory properties. They can modulate inflammatory signaling pathways in the body, helping to calm that low-grade chronic inflammation that is so detrimental to the brain. Think of them as a cleanup and repair crew that not only removes the dangerous debris free radicals, but also soothes the body's alarm system inflammation, allowing neurons to function in a calmer, more protected environment. This dual action is what makes them so promising for long-term cognitive health. However, the flavonoid family is vast, with over 6,000 types identified. Not all are created equal when it comes to crossing the blood-brain barrier, a highly selective protective membrane that prevents harmful substances from reaching the brain. But within this vast family, there is a subclass that scientists are calling the brain protection elite. These are the ones that can truly make a difference when it comes to cognition. The elite subclass of flavonoids that has the scientific community buzzing are flavonols. And here we get to the heart of the matter about the number one brain food. It's not about a single food, but rather foods exceptionally rich in this specific type of compound. The two most potent and studied sources of flavonols are pure cocoa and blueberries. Yes, you heard right. Cocoa, the main ingredient in dark chocolate. But we're not talking about sugary milk chocolate. We're talking about cocoa in its purest form, or in very high cocoa content chocolates, above 85%. The scientific mechanism by which cocoa and blueberry flavonols exert their protective effect is fascinating. First, as mentioned, they cross the blood-brain barrier. Once in the brain, they don't just act as passive antioxidants. They activate a cascade of beneficial events. One of the most significant effects is the increase in nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is a molecule that relaxes the walls of blood vessels, improving blood flow. Better blood flow to the brain means more oxygen and more nutrients for neurons, allowing them to function more efficiently and resist stress better. Additionally, flavonols have been shown to increase levels of a crucial protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. BDNF is often described as fertilizer for the brain. It supports the survival of existing neurons and encourages the growth of new neurons and synapses, which are the connections between them. This is fundamental for learning and memory, a process known as So, by consuming these foods, you're not just protecting your brain from damage, you're actively promoting its growth and enhancing its function. This sounds incredible in theory, but what does rigorous science, clinical studies published in reputable medical journals, actually say about the power of these foods? The scientific evidence supporting flavonol consumption for brain health is robust and growing. We're not talking about theories or test tube studies, but research conducted in humans, many of them focused on older populations. One striking study, published in the scientific journal Hypertension by the American Heart Association, involved older adults who consumed a flavonol-rich cocoa drink daily. Using neuroimaging techniques, researchers observed a significant increase in blood flow to brain regions associated with memory and thinking, such as the dentate gyrus of the hippocampus. This improved blood flow was directly correlated with better performance on memory tests. Another significant piece of research, the Cosmos Mind Study, a large-scale randomized clinical trial conducted by researchers at Harvard and Brigham and Women's Hospital, found that daily supplementation with cocoa extract improved global cognition and memory in older adults. Participants who took the flavonol supplement showed improvements in tests, measuring word list, recall, and other executive functions. Similarly, blueberries have also been extensively studied. A study published in the Annals of Neurology followed over 16,000 women for 2 decades, and found that those who ate the most blueberries and strawberries, another source of flavonoids, had slower rates of cognitive decline. The difference was so significant, the researchers estimated that consuming these fruits could delay brain aging by up to 2.5 years. If you're finding this information useful and want to help others discover it, please comment below with the word brain. This helps the algorithm show this video to more people who need this guidance. It is crucial, however, to be honest about the limitations and strengths of this evidence. Most studies show a strong correlation, meaning high flavonol intake is associated with better brain outcomes, but proving direct causation is complex. It's vital to understand the nuance behind the headlines. When a study says chocolate improves memory, you need to look at the details. The strength of the evidence lies in the dose and consistency. In clinical studies, participants aren't eating commercial chocolate bars, which are loaded with sugar and fat, and have a relatively low cocoa content, where flavonoids have largely been destroyed by processing. They are consuming standardized cocoa extracts with high concentrations of flavonols, typically between 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day. Getting this amount from regular chocolate would be almost impossible without consuming a massive amount of calories and sugar. This brings us to a crucial point. Quality matters more than quantity. The available evidence suggests that the benefit comes not from occasional consumption, but from consistent, long-term incorporation of high-quality sources into the diet. This means the effect is cumulative. The protective properties of flavonols build up over time, creating a stronger defense against the oxidative stress and inflammation that intensify with age. Another important limitation to consider is individual variability. How our bodies absorb and utilize flavonols can vary from person to person, depending on genetics, our gut microbiome health, and other lifestyle factors. So, While the evidence is strong at a population level, individual experience can vary. Science isn't promising a cure for cognitive decline or a way to reverse significant damage. What the research strongly suggests is that a flavanol-rich diet is a powerful strategy for prevention, and optimization, It's a way to tilt the scales in our favor, slowing the rate of brain aging and keeping our cognitive functions at a higher level for longer. The question, then, becomes practical. How can we safely and effectively incorporate these nutritional powerhouses into our daily lives? Safe and practical implementation is the key to translating scientific knowledge into real results. Let's translate the research into clear, actionable guidance for your everyday life. When it comes to cocoa, the rule is, the darker, the better. Look for dark chocolate with a cocoa content of 85% or higher. At these concentrations, the sugar content is much lower, and the flavanol concentration is significantly higher. 1 or 2 small squares a day is a realistic and sustainable goal. Another excellent option is to use pure, unsweetened cocoa powder in smoothies, yogurts, or even your coffee. Make sure the label says natural cocoa powder and not processed with alkali or Dutch processed, as the alkalization process can destroy a significant portion of the flavanols. For blueberries, convenience is on our side. Both fresh and frozen blueberries are excellent sources. The rapid freezing process preserves most of the nutrients. A serving of half to 1 cup per day is a great target. They can be added to breakfast cereals, oatmeal, yogurt, salads, or simply eaten as a snack. Don't forget other flavonoid-rich sources, like strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, purple grapes, and green tea. Variety is important, as different fruits and vegetables contain different types of flavonoids that can have synergistic effects. A crucial point of caution is sugar. The goal is to add flavanols to your diet, not sugar. Eating milk chocolate or sweetened fruit juices in the name of brain health is counterproductive, as excess sugar is actually pro-inflammatory and detrimental to the brain. Safety also involves moderation. While these foods are healthy, they still contain calories. The idea is to integrate them into an already balanced diet, not simply add them on top of everything else. The most important thing is consistency. Eating a box of blueberries once a month won't cut it. The benefit comes from the daily habit, from providing your brain with a constant supply of these protective compounds. But this is where we need to broaden our perspective. It would be a mistake to think that just by adding these foods, all our cognitive woes will be solved. No food, however powerful, is a magic pill. Brain health is a reflection of our lifestyle as a whole. Thinking of cocoa or blueberries as the sole solution is like installing a state-of-the-art alarm system in a house with the doors and windows wide open. The true brain protection strategy is holistic, where diet is a foundational piece, but not the only one. The flavanols we've discussed work best when combined with other pillars of brain health. Consider exercise. Regular aerobic activity, like walking, swimming, or dancing, also increases blood flow to the brain and stimulates the production of BDNF, that brain fertilizer. Now, imagine the synergistic effect. Exercise prepares the ground, and flavanols provide the nutrients for that growth and repair to happen even more efficiently. One potentiates the other. Sleep is another critical pillar. It is during deep sleep that the brain undergoes a cleansing process, removing toxins and metabolic waste that accumulate during the day, including beta-amyloid plaques, associated with Alzheimer's disease. A diet rich in anti-inflammatories can help optimize this cleansing process, but it cannot replace good quality sleep. Stress management and social connections are also vital. Chronic stress releases cortisol, a hormone that is toxic to neurons in the hippocampus, the center of memory. Meaningful social interactions stimulate the mind and protect against depression, a known risk factor for cognitive decline. Therefore, the number one brain food is, in fact, part of a number one brain lifestyle. The flavanol-rich diet is what provides your brain with the biochemical raw material to defend and rebuild itself, while exercise, sleep, and emotional well-being create the optimal environment for that rebuilding to occur. Together, they form a comprehensive fortress against the wear and tear of time. We've reached the end of our journey today, and I hope you're leaving with a much clearer and more powerful understanding of how to protect your mind. We've seen that senior moments are not necessarily an inevitable fate, but a signal that our brain is facing a battle against oxidative stress and inflammation. We've discovered that the search for the #1 brain food leads us not to a magic item, but to a class of heroic compounds called flavanols, found in abundance in pure cocoa and blueberries. We've understood the scientific mechanism. These compounds improve brain blood flow and increase BDNF levels, the fertilizer that helps keep our neurons healthy and connected. We've looked at the robust scientific evidence supporting these benefits, but we've also recognized the importance of quality, consistency, and integration of these foods into a healthy, well-rounded lifestyle that includes exercise, sleep, and emotional well-being. Now, the most important piece of information of all. The guidance shared in this video is for educational and informational purposes only, based on publicly available scientific research. It does not, in any way, substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Every individual is unique, and your health should be discussed with a qualified professional before making any significant changes to your diet or lifestyle. Especially if you have pre-existing health conditions or are taking medications, please consult your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can help you create a plan that is safe and effective for you. If you found value in this video, the greatest favor you can do us is to share it with a friend, a family member, or anyone you love who would benefit from this information. Brain health is a gift we all deserve to protect. Thank you for taking the time to learn and to care for yourself.